Greetings, you horrible, horrible monsters, and welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who has joined me this evening, especially Dora, as Dora, you're under attack tonight from the elements, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a huge thunderstorm here since yesterday. It's been insane with amounts of rain, wind, and I hate thunders and wind. Like you guys can relate. I mean, my older sister was scaring me that I will get hit by a thunder, or how do you say it, by a bolt. If I'm outside, and since then, even though I'm an adult, I'm still not very recovered from that fear, I would say. But yeah, if I how do you say, disappear during the stream, I'm sorry. We probably have difficulties, technical difficulties. The internet went off probably, or I lost power, but it will be fine. I think I'm not hearing it anymore. Maybe it just passed, but we will see. We will see.
Well, it's another exciting day in the life of Dora. One day, have you had an exciting day? What have you been up to?
I've been at work all day. I've just got in the door, and it's been horrible today. Yeah, you just can't tell the weather these days. I mean, you expect a spell of good weather, and today I looked out the window, went walkies in the rain this morning, and it's been raining all day, but nothing like what's going on in Croatia right now. They usually name storms by name, don't they? So maybe we should give this storm a name. We start with letter A, or do we start? I don't know. In the comments, what do you think we should name the storm that Dora is going through at the moment?
I mean, it spins a lot of things, so probably Anthony. I will call it
Storm Anthony.
Yeah.
We're done. That's Can I flip it on bath time?
Yeah.
I know you're asking the questions, but I'm asking you. What have you done today? How are you feeling? And is there any storm brewing with you?
There's always inside the heart of every man. There's a storm that brews one day.
That's a good one.
No, I've had a good day. I got my notebook out earlier and thought about like sodding thumbnails that I need to make for FA Cup final week. And I've been looking forward to the football at the weekend. To be honest, I'm growing more and more confident as time goes on, and obviously today there's been some sort of breaking news that an Italian journalist has said that Ten Hag is definitely gone, which I'll tell you what, we'll talk to the comments and then we'll come back to that.
Okay.
All right. So first off, at 2:55 p.m, so Steph is early and present, she said the end of our season is officially Saturday night after the cup final, so our views may change. Hope so. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew, does anyone remember the stream where I predicted United would sack Heath 2 days after the end of the season and he'd been replaced by De Zerbi? This was in January earlier. De Zerbi is now 72 to be next manager. The one where I got to call myself King Andrew I of the Man United Agenda, if I was right. Andrew, you are a massive slut for attention. Only children and clowns need applause. Give us more predictions. And then it's Ed saying, evening, guys and gals. Not interested in betting. See you at 9 for the real talk. Love to you all. Well, it is 9 now, Ed. So that's good. Lucky has just, you've said a lot of things, Lucky. I mean, what does this mean? Ten Hag in or Pinocchio in?
Someone's lying.
And Andrew is still coring. DK Wilson, Ed Mayhem, we deserve better. Lucky Singh, Pat Lawless, Mondo Jim, and Mr. B. Your guy took one hell of a beating. Yeah. Do you understand this reference, Dora?
Who? Fury? Who? I don't know.
There was some. Was it Norway?
Norway, yeah, that's right.
Norway played England, I think, maybe 30 years ago.
Longer than that. It was like 1980 maybe, because we failed to get to the 82 World. No, 1978 maybe, I think, or the 1980 for the European Championships, or 78. It was one of the 2 years. I think we failed to get to the World Cup, didn't we? In 78, and Poland stopped us.
Okay,
so Margaret Thatcher, because it might be 78, because it said Margaret Thatcher. You mentioned her as well.
Who else did you mention?
He mentioned all the great Winston Churchill, all the greats of British history.
Yeah. So Dora, Norway beat England in a football match, and when the whistle went, the Norwegian commentator just started shouting out the names of anyone that was English and famous, like going, like what was he saying? I've forgotten every name. Neville Chamberlain and all this sort of stuff. Your boys took one hell of a beating.
Was it Poland?
I'm sure it was Norway.
Oh, I thought it was Norway as well, but for some reason I thought Poland. Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, someone that I know isn't from Norway or from Poland. It's Vincent Bullock. He's from Birmingham. Bilal wants to know the longest in the shower award.
Dion W.
Yeah. The Storms are with Andrew as well. Yeah, we apparently one whizzed over us today as well. Andrew, Ed he's being a proper gentleman, saying hello to everyone. And we've also got Stephanie who's saying hello. Good one, Vincent. Storm Greenwood. I quite like that one. We've got Chat Sport in the house. Steph is back. She's saying Storm Smasher.
Oh my god.
And we've also got Bill in the house. Bill's had a bit of bad luck recently, losing his dog. So our hearts go out to you, Bill. It's always it's such a tragedy. And Simon is saying 1981 it was Norway 2, England 1.
Oh wow.
So wait, what were they were they trying to qualify for? I thought they were qualifying for a tournament.
Well, yeah, it was probably like
they
a
qualified
qualifier
for 82, but England qualified for 82 World Cup.
Yeah, but they lost, didn't they? That's they still might have qualified.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah,
they didn't go through based on how good your commentary was. Like you went through on the results, and Drogan is telling us that it was George Lillian. And we can all agree that was beautifully and correctly pronounced. Brilliant. Maggie Thatcher, your boys took one hell of a beating. Yes, 2-1 Norway. Classic, that.
So was that a World Cup qualifier?
A Monday. I don't know.
Okay, Simon said it was. Sorry, I've just seen Simon said it was. Okay.
It was a World Cup qualifier. I don't know why we've got so caught up in football results from before we were born, like 1982 or something. Apparently, it was Ollie's dad that did it. That would be quite nice. And we got 12 likes. Right. Okay. So, chat and everyone here, we've got some awards to do today. If you like, I can tell you what the awards are all in one go. And you can sort of think about it for a while, or we can just do it one by one. So, in the comments, yes, Amanda.
Okay. Let the comments decide. I was going to say one by one, but what do you guys want to do? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, should I just look, I'll tell you what, right? The first award is for best match. So what I can do is I can tell you what all the categories are now to the people in chat, or I can just bring it up one at a time.
Look what they're saying in the comments. They're saying one by one.
One by one. Oh, look, hello, it's my friend Mo. Hello, Mo. How are you? Mo's recently been on a huge weight list, getting fit and healthy in a weight what's it? A weight loss kit. God, that infection has really damaged my brain. All right, but before we get to that, I just quickly want to address the story that Dora sent me, which was about how an Italian journalist has said that Ten Hag is definitely going in the next couple of days. Dora, what are you thinking?
I'm not sure if Di Marzio is that reliable anymore. I think that he has some hits, he had some misses, but I think in the last few years he's been, I don't know how reliable he is about English football, but you guys in the comments maybe who follow the rumor, football rumor mill journalists can tell you. But you know what? I feel that's a good decision, but because I was not convinced by Ten Hag in these last 2 seasons, especially this one. If I'm being honest with you, it will be interesting to see what will happen after that FA Cup final.
Amonde, have you heard this?
No, I would like to, when these stories come out, I'd like to have some context. Who is this guy? Who is he and what is he to you? Phil would say, but who is this guy? What's the quote? How's the report written? Has he suggested how, why he's so sure of this? Or is he just posing the question? Because we did say this a couple of days ago. Remember, Dora, we said probably before the cup final would be news coming out, speculation about his job, things that were going to distract us. We want to be talking, getting excited about the cup final, but there will be talk about his job and the security of his job as well. And then I know fans will be expecting us to, it's like saying, go and beat Man City and you can stay. If not, if you don't beat Man City, you're out of a job. But I mean, what manager out there or what team could consistently go and beat Man City? Not us, for sure. I mean, it'd be a great game. It would be one of the biggest shocks ever, I believe, since Wimbledon 88 or Sunderland beating Leeds or something like that. But we have to be realistic. We're not expected to beat Man City. So this story coming out, is it dependent? Is he saying it's dependent on the result? Because if we do beat Man City in this shot, does that mean he stays? I don't know. I just think it's a load of BS, and I don't want to focus on that. I don't want to have any negative thoughts in my mind. Let's deal with that after the season's done. And I think as a club, especially, we've seen nothing's directly come out of the club to indicate either way whether he's staying or going, which is a good thing. Leave that to, if they made a decision already, keep that hush-hush. We don't want any more leaks. We've had enough with our roof and probably Dora's roof with that storm at the moment. So what we require right now is hush. Let's not focus on negativity. Let's give it 5-10 minutes or whatever it takes. But let's focus on the FA Cup and the awards ceremony. That's what I'm concerned about.
Does that mean you don't want to discuss it, Amondo?
I'll just say this. Look, it's bound to come out. We've discussed this all season. Some people are in, some people are out. I'm in. I think it should stay. But I understand why some fans and why journalists will be digging this story out, because it's Manchester United. And he's, by rights, he should be under pressure for finishing 8th and having a bad season, all things considered. So I'm not surprised by the story coming out. I just don't think it's a credible source.
It's a very credible source.
Well, what's it say exactly?
It's DiMarco, who is a journalist with over 1 million followers. He's a proper journalist. He's in Italy, and he says that Manchester United have decided that they will not continue with Erik ten Hag as their manager, and it's quite strange because the guy is normally based pretty much just on Italian stuff. So the speculation would be that it could be possible it's De Zerbi as the next manager, as De Zerbi is Italian and he's already agreed to go to a new club that is as yet unnamed. So it's possible that he's gambling. Fabrizio Romano has said that no decision has yet been made as far as he's aware. But this guy is a serious journalist. And I'd be very surprised if he puts something out that isn't true. So it's all very strange, but it can, for me personally, can only have come from De Zerbi.
Yeah, I think, is he Gazzetta dello Sport or Sky Sports Italy? I think he is legit in Italian football. I'm not but I agree with everything you said. But it's either one of those two publishers that he's working for.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, this is the feeling from the comments. Ed says we're finished if Ten Hag goes. So old shit. Not familiar with that expression, but okay. And we got the judge in tonight. It all depends on if Pep is ducking out at City early. So if the memory go down starts now, we need to jump on. So there has been speculation that Pep is looking to get out of City. His contract runs to the end of next season, and he could possibly go early. My dad told me that there were two tennis players called something like Bjorn and Beckenbauer.
No, McEnroe. Bjorn Borg and McEnroe. Yes.
Right.
Close.
I don't know, sorry. But he told me that one of them retired and the other one said, the other, is it McEnroe then?
Yeah.
He said that he completely lost everything when the other guy went.
Yeah.
And my dad told me that he thinks that Pep doesn't take Arteta seriously, and Klopp was the only person he saw as competition, and he can see him going because he's conquered everything. What more is there for him? And Vincent is saying, don't forget the FA Cup final. When we want it, we sacked a Dutch manager, so it could be happening again. Talk about Louis van Gaal, of course. Now, like he's saying, only wants the best managers. He's Pochettino in. And Steph is giving Pep advice, which is that he should resign if he loses. It should be good. And Ed's reminding everyone, Wigan beat Man City, which is very true. Apparently, we've got 18 people watching me calling Boris Becker Beckenbauer. So that's good. That's good.
Be on
And we
board.
got 13 likes.
You
Yeah,
were
he was in Star Trek.
You were, Becker, like you were 20 years off. They were in by the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, and Becker was in the 90s. So you got a wrong decade as well. But
Actually-
you know what? We will forgive you.
Actually, Boris Becker won at 17 years old in 1985, being Kevin Curran in the final.
Oh, wow. Okay. Great.
That didn't sound like an apology, Dora.
You know what you did. You know what you did.
Becker
But that's
won
a-
Wimbledon 1985, won it again in 1986. There
Oh
we
my
go.
God. You learn everything, you learn a lot of things every day. Thank you, Monty.
All right. Should we get on to the awards?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Yeah, is that okay? Fair enough. That's Dr. De Zerbi. I mean, Andrew Williams mentioned it earlier. How does anyone feel about that? Just quickly before we go on to the
What,
awards.
De Zerbi?
Yeah.
I am not a fan at all. And I'd be more disappointed, to be perfectly honest, if De Zerbi was the manager as opposed to Gareth Southgate. I don't like the football that Brighton play. I hate it. They've been roundly smacked about all season because a lot of their sort of like tactics is based around a double box midfield. So you hear about the box midfield quite a lot. They play a double box midfield where one of their strikers has to come in and form the box.
Mhm.
That is not how to use Rasmus Højlund. That's probably the worst way possible of using him. The width is supplied by almost kind of wing backs, as it were. So I don't think that that's the best use of Garnacho and Ahmad and people like that. I think it's a horrible mix, and I hate the football, and I find him a deeply uninspiring man. Brighton, I hate them, but they should have gone out and have tried to win the Europa League or whatever. Like, I'm not a fan of them at all.
Dora?
I'm more keen on Tuchel than De Zerbi, in all honesty. I don't have that big of an opinion about De Zerbi. Every time I watch them this season, they got smacked, which is unfortunate, right? Because every time you pick a team, pick their game to watch, and they get smacked 4-0 or whatever. Is it because they lost a lot of players? They lost Caicedo. They lost they're losing McAllister. They're losing a lot of players, every single year due to them just being a developmental club or whatever. But I feel they got smacked a lot this season. Maybe on par with us, I would say, because they are under us in the table. But I'm more keen on Tuchel than De Zerbi, in all honesty.
What do you think, Armando?
I thought he's had an impact, that's for sure. I think the fact, like Dora was saying, that he's lost players and still continues to play a decent game of football, mid-table this year, with what he's working with, I think he's done really well. I don't know if he's ready for the step up for Man United. Obviously, I think he's been in Italy at lower clubs and Spain as well, I believe, at lower clubs, and not really set the world on fire. But maybe these people know something we don't know. And maybe one thing I will say about him, when I've heard him talk and when I've seen him in training sessions, he seems like he don't mess around. And that's the kind of manager we need, or coach that we need. Someone who doesn't care, headstrong, and will just go out there and deliver. But I'm still want Ten Hag in.
Yeah, it's interesting you say about like a coach rather than a manager. One thing that you have to give De Zerbi is that, for example, when Caicedo came to this country, he was fat, ill-disciplined, and got sent out on loan for not being a proper player. He came back in an injury crisis, and he got turned into a £100 million plus player. So maybe De Zerbi working with youngsters is the future. I just don't want him at the football club. He's the least sexy signing I can think of. Well, he is, Dora. I'd much prefer Sean Dyche. Get more bold men in. All right. Now, the judge is asking, is there a meet-up with the Man United agenda in London for the FA Cup final this year?
I'm going out at 6 or 7 that evening, maybe straight after the game. But if you want to meet up, yeah, I can do that. You're more than welcome.
DJing?
Yeah, I've got a few things, like that, music stuff going on. But yeah, if you want to meet up, we can meet up, maybe watch the game together. You can come to my area if you want. I live near Wembley, so you can come to my area and we can go and watch the game. Be nice to meet you. Yeah.
That's very kind of you, Monday. Now, Simon is saying Chelsea can have De Zerbi and then watch him leave after the season. And Bilal's been in your joke book on Monday. Brighton don't deserve him.
Very good.
20 people watching, 16 likes. Roberto De Zerbi, for me, has plus and negatives, says Andrew. What is a big plus is he suits how they want to set themselves up. And like Ashworth definitely has a link to De Zerbi from Brighton, I believe. He's probably the guy that scouted him. And Lucky, you've been going on about Tosin from Monaco quite a lot, but I'm very surprised, Lucky. You're very pro Pochettino. I wouldn't have thought that from you. Andrew's saying he's a style of play, mid-table, but they've been brutalised by injuries. It's pretty much our season as well, isn't it? Bill being a bit of a killjoy, really. None of us know. We'll have to wait and see. Get on with the awards, please. Piss off, Bill. His Atlanta team played proper football. Right. Brighton have got slapped up a few times in the Premier League this season, but had a lot of injuries. A lot of excuses being made for De Zerbi here. Like, I don't think that like Andrew's saying that they've been brutalised by injuries. He'd go mental on Monday if you said that the poor form this season was down to injuries. So I think we should apply the same standards. Sigmund is saying you're a top man. We've got Big G, oi oi Savaloy. And Vincent is, can we remember today, it's a sad day for Manchester. It's the 7th year anniversary of the Manchester bombings and the 11th year anniversary of Lee Rigby, a Manchester United supporter. I can't believe it's been 7 years since the Manchester bombing. Incredible. Shout out Ariana Grande. I always thought it was brilliant what she did. Mm-hmm. Like coming back to give that concert. I got really upset when I watched it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. So best match on that sunny note. All right, Amonde, let's start with you. This season. All right, Dora, let's start with you. This season, what was the best match, your favourite match, and why?
Well, I think the easiest answer is that Liverpool game in the Cup, where we won 4-3 and qualified for the FA Cup semi-finals. I think even though, they had some, defensive issues, we had some of the defensive issues. At the end of the day, it was, the biggest derby, English derby, in English football history. It was between two giants, and it was for something, right? It was for something. You win. The winner goes home. The loser, the winner takes everything. The loser goes home. And I think that was probably not just for the neutrals, but I think as every fan, we were. I mean, I was teary-eyed when Amad Diallo scored that goal. I haven't felt that kind of emotion for a very long time, as a Manchester United supporter, because we had a lot of problems in the past few years. I think I had that reaction when when Rashford scored against PSG the last time in Paris. So it was. I think that is the easiest answer. If I'm being honest with you, I thoroughly enjoyed that game as a United fan, and it was so much sweeter that we knocked out Liverpool. So yeah, and destroyed the dreams of quadruple for Klopp. I think after that game, everything just fell apart for Klopp. I mean, he lost. He lost against Atalanta. After that, they lost the league after that, and it was just absolutely amazing. So yeah, I would say that game, but I will give an honorable mention. I think another entertaining game, not necessarily maybe the most with the biggest quality, but I felt that Aston Villa at home 3-2 when Højlund scored that goal and he started crying. I think that was to me that was another we were 2-0 down, I think, and then we scored 3. McTominay scored as well. Højlund scored, and Garnacho, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, great game as well. So that's my honorable mention.
Monday, just before we get to United, what was the best match out of all the football that you saw this season?
All football. Why didn't you ask me that?
No, I'm asking you afterwards. I'm just giving a Monday some time to to hedge in case you stole
okay.
So some of the best games I've seen where I've been like, yeah, really, this is great. Real Madrid in the Champions League. Did they play Man City?
They did.
Yeah, the game when they played against Man City, I thought was outstanding. Levels, I'm just going back. I think Arsenal, Man U, when they beat us, when Dalot went sliding at the end of the game, and they started doing memes about him sliding off into planets, into space, into the universe, and things. I thought that was a good game. Rashford's goal, it's exciting. I'm thinking, I can't remember details about certain match, but I remember the excitement when Rashford scored, and then it was kind of we were in and around the game, and then we tried to push forward at the end, and they sort of buried us. But there was ups and downs. There's a lot of emotion in that game. You know what? I have to agree with Dora, because the simple answer is beating Liverpool. I mean, they beat us 7-0. They beat us 5-0. It was a daunting task taking them on in the FA Cup. And like they said, at that time, Liverpool, I think Klopp had announced that he was leaving. This was part of their march towards, taking on all competitions. And we put a stop to it. It wasn't the best game, I don't feel, as in quality, but we worked really hard that day. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need to put the effort in. So I was delighted to beat them, to go through. I just want to give a shout out to Coventry City, though, man. Oh my God, that was an amazing day, amazing match. The way they came back and they scored that goal at the end, and, it was just like, wow. When they scored, because the thing is with VAR these days and things like that, when they scored, I was like, no. How? This would be the biggest upset of all time, in my opinion, because we were 3-0 up, weren't we?
Yeah.
And they've come back, and then they scored a goal at the end. That would have been epic, of all, bigger than anything you've ever seen in your life. But thankfully for us, it was offside just. But back in the day before VAR, that would have been given, and we would have been, probably shut down the channel through embarrassment. 3-0 up and you can throw it away. I also think that we haven't had many outstanding games of quality. We haven't murdered a team like 5-6-0. I don't recall this season. And I know it's a funny comment earlier, but one of the games that really impressed me was in pre-season when we did beat Arsenal. I thought that was amazing. that to me was the emergence of Kobe Mainoo. He was fantastic that day. And Sancho scored a brace, I think, and we put them away. 2-0, we're 2-0 up, and we didn't allow them to come back because we haven't been able to hold on to a lead. So going back, I think the Villa game as well, that Dora mentioned, was a very good game, but the Liverpool one is the obvious one, and I'm going to stick with that. So my stamp, I'm putting it down. I'm laying it down now. The Liverpool game was the best match this season for obvious reasons.
All right, and Dora, your best match, excluding Manchester United this season?
That's a tough question on Monday, not on Monday, a bad time, because there have been 500, games this season. You know what? I will say this. You probably don't know, but from what I watched, I think European football was, of quality. We had some great games: City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid as well. We had some great games. Bayer Leverkusen had an amazing season. They served us absolutely amazing, games. El Clasico was very good as well. But I will shout out my domestic league. It was a really important game. I think it was a game between Dinamo Zagreb and Rijeka a few weeks ago. This was an important game where the winner would get the momentum to win the league. Dinamo Zagreb, of course, they are a dominant team in Croatia. They have the most. They're like Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich in Bundesliga, they win a lot, and then some kind of random club comes in and steals it away. Rijeka is probably the most successful club next to Dinamo Zagreb in the last 15 years because they won two leagues, or one league and one cup, and they were on the verge of doing that as well. However, unfortunately, Dinamo won in the end because it's the winning mentality, experience. It was a very I was watching the game. It was very, intense and exciting. An exciting game that I think Dinamo won. I think it was 2-1, or I think it was 2-1 or 2-0 or something like that. I cannot remember right now. But Dinamo won in Maksimir in Zagreb, and they went on top above Rijeka. And after that, in the last few games, they just took away the league, and today they won a Croatian Cup as well against Rijeka once again, which is a revenge from last season, or no, 2 seasons ago when Rijeka beat Dinamo. So yeah, it was a really from Croatian's perspective and all that, and I think you will see a lot of domestic players from domestic leagues in Croatian national team this Euros, which is interesting, which is great to see. We are cultivating our talent once again, which is very exciting. I feel this was one of the most exciting Croatian leagues in a very long time. We had them before. I was very young. I think in mid 2000s, Hajduk and Dinamo were, they were always, against each other. But we finally have that, competitiveness and excitement watching our leagues, and many people are getting interested in it, especially young people here, and that's a great sign. And I will shout out that game because it was so exciting to watch.
Great stuff. All right, should we look at the comments? Amonde is front run us with my favourite comment, which is the best game was the Arsenal in pre-season. Andrew is saying that his best match of the season was Spurs versus Chelsea. I believe this is the game where Spurs were down to 9 men and were playing that ridiculous high line. It was a really, really interesting football match. Big G's got a different take. None. All games this season were proper shite. And Steph has got a good one here. The best Premier League match was Wolves away, where Kobe Mainu scored a couple of minutes after Wolves equalised.
Good shout.
Yeah, great goal.
Vincent is saying if it's a cup game, beating them 4-3. Spurs in January for me, 2-2, Højlund and Rashford with the scorers. And Ed is saying when we came from 2-0 down and Rasmus got the winner. Was that Villa?
Yep, Villa game.
Yeah. We've also somehow managed to get 20 likes, so thanks to everyone who's pressed that button. And Mo is saying, got to give it to Bayern coming back in the Europa semi-final to remain unbeaten this season. They lost that, didn't they? Is that a joke? I don't know. Sorry.
Bayer Leverkusen. It was a typo.
Oh, Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah,
nice.
It was a typo.
Good catch, Dora.
Yeah.
Nice. And I agree with Andrew that the FA Cup was clearly the best game of the season. Big G is front running some topics, but we will get to this, I have no doubt. And Bilal is saying, according to Ten Hag, we haven't had a bad game this season, so just choose anyone.
Good one.
And Atalanta are 3-0 up with a Lookman hat trick.
Wow.
I think he's an ex-Everton player.
Yes,
Charlton.
and he was at Fulham as well.
Charlton as well, yeah. He's done the rounds.
Yep.
Interestingly, have you seen the new Bayern Munich manager?
No.
It's Vincent Kompany.
Oh, is it really?
No, it was
Yes.
a rumor. It's not confirmed, is it?
Are you sure? It appears to
I
be
don't think-
confirmed.
Fabrizio Romano said that company is very interested in that job, and he would love to, if he would love to go and coach, Bayern Munich, of course. Apparently, they are kind of interested, but it's not confirmed, I think.
Well, for me, they've got the wrong ex-Burnley manager. It should be Sean Dyche.
Imagine that.
It's not confirmed. I just had a quick
Yeah.
look on Twitter to see if Ten Hag had been fired or not. All right. The worst match.
Sorry, bath time. Do you agree with the choices being made, and what would be your best match?
It's very difficult to look beyond the Liverpool game. The two other games that come to mind are the Everton game, the Wolves game, where Kobe Mainoo scored. And I obviously liked McTominay's last minute winner away at Villa Park, because I felt we might be able to get Champions League football. And my match of the season is my father is a Scotsman, and I watched Spain versus Scotland with him, and it was absolutely hilarious. And I really one of my favourite memories with him. He's in those sort of reclining chairs. Like whenever a player scores a goal, he sort of does like an overhead kick in them and reclines back, and it's just, I find it very charming. So those would be my picks. But now, Monday, you got worst match, and I'm going to start you off with non-Manchester United to get you to build into it. What's the most disappointing match you've seen this season?
I haven't watched much football. It's not Man United. Quality-wise, I'd probably have to say maybe if Sheffield United played Luton, I think that wouldn't be good representation of the Premier League. I'm just guessing. I haven't seen the game, but there's two fixtures, isn't there? So I would guess if anyone was promoted in Premier League and they showed that game, they're talking about taking games to America, aren't they? Give them that sort of game. Sheffield United versus Luton, two of the teams that I think played probably the worst football. They both relegated. I think Burnley played good football. Luton were effective, but Sheffield United were really poor this year. For no fault of their own, they had injuries. So I think, even though I haven't seen the game, I think it could have been a classic.
Brilliant, Monday.
I think that sort of game doesn't represent the high quality that we expect in the Premier League because of the teams.
All right, now give me the Manchester United match.
It's recent biased as well. I was really upset with how we went down to Crystal Palace. What was the score? 5-0?
4-0.
Yeah, the way they just took the mickey out of us, that was really sad. And that was like a palm in hand sort of moment, seeing him, especially that Mateta. That guy is coming to form really well lately, and you expect to know how to deal with him. And Casemiro was sliding around the park and just messing up all that for the whole game. And Johnny Evans was a bit isolated against him. And he scored a cracker, and he must have just thinking, this is easy. This is easy. We're playing Man United, and he can retire tomorrow knowing he's done that against us. I thought he got a brace, didn't he, against us? So they really took us to the cleaners, and that really sort of represented for me the worst game for our season, and probably that's going to be stamped down as a remembrance of what our season was all about, losing games like that badly.
All right, you got a lot to choose from, Dora. Was there a terrible match in the Croatian league or anything?
Oh, there have been. I mean, in English Premier League, you have Luton and Sheffield United. In Croatian league, you have NK Rudeš, and I think that's too harsh for Varaždin. But yeah, two last clubs in the table. But you know what? I have few outside, not necessarily outside Manchester United, but I mean it's quite close. I think that the recent loss against Chelsea by Manchester United women's team really disappointed me, especially after their manager Skinner got another year of a new contract after winning an FA Cup. The girls just folded, and I think it was wrong.
Is it like 6-0?
Yes, it was absolutely like I started watching it and I couldn't finish the game. It was that bad. I think in the first half they scored 4, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe from someone from the chat watched it. It was really disappointing after having first trophy for women's team in FA Cup, which is a huge accolade, but they bottled it. Like I don't know what happened. I would shout out another one. I think any Getafe game that I watched, unfortunately, in La Liga. They're just. I won't repeat that term that I used in the last stream when we discussed Getafe once. But yeah, if you were like, they're just boring. Like any game I watched in La Liga that that had one team, Getafe against someone, it was so boring. They would just not even parking the bus. They're just it's not like during Mourinho days we park the bus and then at least the players move. These people don't even move on the pitch. It was so many boring games there. But yeah, from Manchester United perspective, and I would just shout out. I think that. I really like North London derby. The recent one ended up really exciting by the end because Spurs scored second one in the last 10 minutes. But I felt that throughout that game they just they had some chances and Spurs couldn't do anything to Arsenal. So yeah, I would say that was a disappointing, I would say, not necessarily the worst match. It was a disappointing match for me. But yeah, from Manchester United perspective, we have so many examples, but I don't want to repeat myself. I believe the Crystal Palace away was a culmination of everything that went wrong this season because it was an awful game. I think the players gave up. It was an awful result. But I felt that Fulham game when we lost 2-0 in the end, the second goal I think came in the last minute or so. But I will shout out. But I will say this: I think the Chelsea game was absolutely a disaster. That whole game was awful. I don't necessarily think that. I think we lost it in the end 4-2, or was it 4-3? What was the score of that game? But the whole thing of I think the worst thing was that we conceded 2 goals in the injury time of the game because the players just fell asleep. They weren't concentrated. They weren't on point. It was just overall poor game and I thought that Chelsea were there for the taking. They threatened as well, but we threatened as well. And I don't think that. I think even Ten Hag that game, with his weird subs as well, it was just a calamity from every angle. So I would just say that Chelsea game because I was just done. I was just done after that game, in all honesty.
All right. It's kind of painful reliving these moments, isn't it? But let's relive them with the chat. Draugen is saying the second half at Stamford Bridge was something until we completely lost our heads. Yeah. Hydro is in the house. Hello, Hydro. He needs about 10 pints, so he can't remember any of the games. Which good for you. Right, Simon is saying the worst match is 4-0 Palace. Crystal Palace from Vincent. Ed is going for Chelsea. Palace away for Stephanie. But she's also saying Bournemouth at home was dire as well. One of the many defeats we've forgotten about. Andrew is saying that the 1-1 draw that Ragbek served up is the worst he's ever seen. Simon is going for the 4-3. Ed is off. He's not interested in other teams. So enjoy the rest of your evening, Ed. 2-1 against Luton. We were hanging on by the skin of our teeth. Dora saying Nottingham Forest after New Year. It was awful. So congratulations.
Good girl.
Yeah. And I mean, For me, one of the ones that really comes to mind was Galatasaray at home, where Old Trafford got sort of ripped up. They ripped banners down and things, but there were just so many of them. Like, yeah, Bill is saying like Copenhagen away, and another one. I remember being really disappointed by the Bayern Munich game as well, when Onana just kept dropping clangers everywhere. I think Casemiro might have got a double in that game. But it's not. I mean, it has been a season to remember, but for the wrong reasons, isn't it? All right, let's move on to a happier topic, and I think that there could only be one winner. Is goal of the season?
Yeah, I'd say it's got to be Garnacho. That's it. Move on. It's Garnacho. What we just set to see? What a great goal! And at the time, I think that's what really made him. It was all up until that time. It was like, yeah, Garnacho's good young player. But after that, that sort of made him the young star that he is. Obviously, we're seeing players like Palmer and Saka and even Kobe Mainu now and Phil Foden, really talented players in the league, young players as well. Garnacho's still not quite there yet, but a goal like that showed me he's got something about him. And look, not everyone scores goals like that. All he's got to do now is score a chip and a header, and I will say he's a complete player.
All right, Dora, I don't think anyone is going to argue that Garnacho isn't goal of the season. It's one of the greatest goals scored in English football ever. It's an extraordinary achievement. What other goals? I assume you're going with Garnacho, yeah?
Yeah, of course. There is no discussion about that. Yeah.
All right. What other goals come to mind?
Well, interestingly enough, even though we had a piss-poor season, the candidates for the goal of the season that was elected by Sky Sports, if I'm not mistaken, there were, I think, 4 United players there out of 6, which was insane. We were scoring bangers, but our games were absolutely flops. But I think Dalot had a great goal from outside of the box, but Kobe Mainu against Wolves. I think Garnacho is, there. Kobe is second, and I don't think there is any better from United besides, those two.
All right. Well, let's look at the comments, because I think that there's a goal that everyone's forgetting that isn't, in my view, isn't too far away from Garnacho's. All right. Andrew is saying Garnacho, Rashford's seconds. That'll be against City, I'd imagine. And then El Toon in the cup final with a beautiful right foot curler. Bill, quite correctly, is saying just pick any of Scott McTominay's goals. Steph's got a good one as well. Ahmad in the cup against Liverpool. Matty is saying the goal of the season is McTominay against Bruno, 2 yards knee in. Mainu versus Liverpool. Good. This is the one I was hoping was mentioned. Bruno versus Liverpool. A 40-yard first touch outside of the foot.
Oh, yeah.
Lob. Honestly, it's an unreal goal. Garnacho's is still better, but Bruno's goal is outrageous. Garnacho by a country mile. I think we all agree against that. And Agile Beast, hello, sir, is saying that Højlund's run and chip versus Galatasaray, which was a very good goal. I'd also like to shout out Bruno's goal against, was it Burnley, where Johnny Evans did a pass and he volleyed it in. I thought that was
great. Amazing.
And we did score some nice team goals this year. I remember McTominay got one against Copenhagen that was a really nice pass and move as well. And Big G is saying, get out of it at half time. I could have scored that Bruno goal. And Rashford versus City was decent. So happier times. Amonde, have you remembered any?
Yeah, all the ones that I've mentioned, they've come to mind. But Kobe, the way everything, the run off the ball from somebody, I think someone ran off the ball to take a defender away, the awareness, touch. I'll take that.
And outside of Manchester United, is there like a goal you've seen this season where you're just like, bloody hell?
Not really. No.
Oh my God, that's a tough one.
I like Kudos against Man City at the weekend because it briefly brought a little bit of hope.
That was all right. I can't really think of the top quality goal.
I think Garnacho is going to win a Puskás award, the most
Yeah.
definitely, right? Like, but I'm trying to think. There were some outrageous goals, but my mind is blank. In all honesty, I cannot, pinpoint one that is, really stuck in my mind. So I think this is a tough one. But I'm.
And then, Malacia. Anthony shinning it in versus Newport.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good goal. What was the worst goal that we scored this season? I think McTominay against Liverpool from 2 yards out was a funny goal.
Yeah.
It must have gone in off someone's forehead or whatever. But anyway, right, where's banners? Here it is. Okay. Oh, I think this is another slam dunk, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Signing of the season.
Okay, so we signed Mason Mount. We signed
Anana,
Rasmus
Højlund,
Evans.
Johnny Evans.
Yeah, it's got to be Evans. Yeah.
Is there any argument that signing of the season has to be Johnny Evans?
No.
No. Right.
Sofian Amrabat loan. God forbid.
Draugen is saying Johnny Evans. No. Steph has gone for Højlund, but Bill is correct. It's Johnny Evans. Højlund for Sigmund, but for us, Evans overall. And Bilal is saying that question. It's Mason Mount. And Mike Bassett says it's got to be Malacia. He's going to be like a new signing when he comes back. All right. Okay. So this is a good one. Now, I like this one. So what is your favourite moment of the season? And I'm going to take out Ahmad from this.
Oh, shut up, best time.
No,
shut up.
Because you had that as thingy.
I mean, it was an easy question. Now it isn't. Okay, I'm trying to think. Omondi, take it off.
Go jump in?
Yes.
It's when the three youths stood on the podium and took a picture. I thought that moment memorable for me. I really like that. And because the guys shows for me when you're in training, you're saying, if I score, let's all do this together. And they scored and they went down there and they knew what they were doing. It was all pre-planned, I reckon. But it's just the way it happened. It's just magical. And maybe we should get T-shirts with that picture on it. Who was it? It was three youngsters. It was Højlund, Garnacho, and Kobe. Wow. I love that moment. That represents youth for us, and I think that's special. Yeah.
Do you know who scored the goal?
I think it was Garnacho.
It was Garnacho.
Yeah.
It was against West Ham, I believe. Dora, have you thought of a moment of the season?
Well, I will say this. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I think in the end it was a great moment for the youngster because he is still a youngster. I think Højlund scoring against Villa and crying, getting overwhelmed. But it was his first goal in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken. That's why he reacted like that after scoring 5, I think, in the Champions League groups, and not passing to the knockout stage must be he was, I think, the best scorer at one point in Champions League, which was, and then not going through it. It's a punch in the gut, right? But I mean, in the league, he couldn't, score. It was, people were blaming the players for not giving his service and all that. And when he scored, he was very overwhelmed. And yeah, it was. I think after that he went on that streak, which was great. And yeah, I was really happy for him and glad that he scored that goal that was looming over his head that much.
Well, I forgot to ask this, but for your signing of the season for the Premier League, Cole Palmer's hard to look past for me.
Yeah.
Or Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Maybe McAllister?
No, definitely not McAllister.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
trying to-
I have to go Cole, but that's the obvious one. Cole Palmer's been fantastic. Yeah. Dora?
Joško Guardiola for City. I was crying that day.
That's
honestly.
a good one.
I was crying that day.
77 million though.
Yeah, and I always imagine him in United shirt because there were, I think, when Ten Hag came in, there were rumors that because he's a lefty, left-footed centre
Yeah.
back, and he would before we signed Martinez, and there were rumors that we are interested in Joško Guardiola, and I was, oh my god, please, first creation, like I would in United dress, United kit, it would be absolutely amazing for him to come. And of course, he signs for fucking City, and I was livid. Have you seen him in the last few games? He was scoring outside with his right foot, like a freaking winger, and I'm like, oh my god, I hate you, but please be, prepared for Euros. But I mean, I was devastated when they signed him.
Have you seen Kieran Trippier might miss the Euros because he got injured in a game in Australia today?
Yeah, crazy.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Newcastle Spurs in Adelaide or something. The judge is demanding a recount about Rasmus Højlund. I'm afraid you're not getting it, mate. Right, Bill Baggio's moment of the season is Casemiro returning from pre-season looking like the Michelin man. Look at this slow coach. Tyrone is at least 50 minutes late for the Ten Hag Demazio chat. Right. This is a good one. Moment of the season was finding out we weren't going to be yet another state-owned club with no soul, which is Jim taking over. I also enjoyed this one a lot. Casemiro's Oscar-winning performance after getting booked at Villa away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
All right. Bill is saying Arsenal won nothing, so Cole Palmer, who also didn't win anything, is going to get it. Steph is saying we've got 23 likes. Mickey van der Ven, signing of the season contender. Vicario and Kudos. All right, this is one that I actually nearly had as my moment of the season, which is random.
Good one.
But my actual signing a moment of the season was McTominay's double against Brentford. That was absolutely fantastic. And Atalanta have beaten Leverkusen in the final.
Well done.
I mean, it's not surprising. They are good.
Yeah. Okay, so we've done moment of the season. Oh, this is a big one. Flop of the season. I'm going to start off with the Premier League and then get to United so you can have a real think.
So is this anything? Player, club, anything?
Player.
Or
film.
Oh, God. So both. So Man United player of the year, player flop of the year. Okay.
All right. So we've got players like Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund, Anana, Amrabat.
Yeah. All right. My flop of the year is Mason Mount. Reason being, he's come along with all good intention and just completely flopped for whatever reason. Age 24 or something, getting injured time and time again and not really playing the game. So that's a complete flop for us. But I replaced that. Our flop of the year is Jadon Sancho. You can't beat him.
Wow.
Jadon Sancho is the flop of the year. What an absolute! I'm not going to say the word. I don't swear, but you know what I mean. No, I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Toss pot or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really let us down. And he's the flop of the year. But you can say, he's got to the Champions League final with Dortmund. But he flopped for us because he hasn't delivered and he had decided to be stubborn and not play for us. When sometimes, how many players are disappointed or upset with their manager about something? And, unless you're bath time, you shouldn't really hold a grudge for that long, And he's done that and decided not to play and just get back, say, right, I'm digging my heels in this one. That, to me, is the biggest flop of the season. I don't care. You could bring up other suggestions, but no one would be a bigger flop than Jadon Sancho because he let us all down.
Dora, can you give me an argument why Sancho isn't flop of the season?
No, Omondi is absolutely spot on, and he had 2 seasons to prove that he is fit for this league, for this club, and he didn't prove anything, in my opinion. He's just, he has the same stats as Anthony, who apparently is a Beyblade and a fidget spinner, glorified, kid's toy. So I will just say this. I think, for the sake of arguing and not arguing but discussing the topic, I would say also Rashford, massive disappointment. Massive disappointment after 30 goals last season in all competitions. We finally think, oh my god, he got over the injuries and the operations. I mean, most of the fan base blamed Ole for overplaying him. And he messed up his back like Robin van Persie had in the past. They were comparing that, and then you finally see him scoring, and then you look at him. Oh my god, he's a star guy. He's a superstar. He's going to carry. He's the face of the team. He's monk born and bred, and he gives us this sulking, not scoring, being absolutely useless if he is not scoring, which he did many times this season. If he doesn't score, he's useless. And of course, he's outside of the pitch moments, I would say, that affected his football. I mean, it obviously affected his football. Hopefully, Southgate leaving him out of the list will kick him up his ass, and he will come to Wembley and score a hat-trick against City. If not, if he's once again still sulking like he was sulking the last FA Cup final, where he threw a massive stinker against City, I was already ready for him to be gone, but if that happens again against City in the FA Cup final, I will be, ready for him to go this season immediately. And Anthony, I think he's just useless. Like I need to like people are. I need you guys to listen to me. Like I've seen today that fan base said we need to look at Anthony as a 30 million euro player, and then we won't get disappointed. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We paid 100 mil for him. I expect him to be good. At least pass his defender. At least try to dribble or strike that ball like a normal human being, not like not like an idiot. And people are, oh my god, we need to look at him as a 30 million player. Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't, like, we paid massive amounts of money for him. The manager obviously believes in him and believed in him during this season because he played him all the time, despite not contributing to the team at all. And, he obviously, saw him as a prospect, and he didn't do anything in the last 2 seasons as well. Just like Jadon Sancho. So, I mean, I need to mention those 2 guys as well. I think a lot of players threw stinkers this season. They are all culpable for many things, but I agree with Omondi. I think we need to mention Jadon Sancho. Like he had a break. Ten Hag sent him on a vacation in Bali or whatever. He was on the beach for 3 months. He came back. He got in all in his feels because he said, "Oh my God, why didn't you start Sancho?" Oh, because he didn't train that well. That's why we picked someone else, and he got in his feelings. Like, come on, like, who are you? Like, what are you? What did you achieve in your footballing career to act like a winner? What did you do? Like, I'm sick and tired of these people, in all honesty. So, yeah, Jadon Sancho.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of comments, unsurprisingly. All right. So let's see if we can keep count. We've got 1 vote from Tyrone for Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Somehow we've got 24 likes. Thank you so much, all you people watching. I hope you're enjoying yourself. The flop team is Sheffield United.
Yep.
Although Michael is saying it's Arsenal. Now, Andrew's throwing his hat into the ring for Casemiro as flop of the season, but Stephanie's saying that's a floppy disc, Andrew. Right. 2 votes for Mount now with Bill, even though he still has hope for him. Michael is saying it's Sancho. Andrew was saying for all round, he would say Caicedo had a howler of a first season at Chelsea. I personally would go for that guy. Do you remember the guy at Southampton, Xavier? Whatever, Labia?
Yeah, yeah.
Ravel Lavia,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think he's played. Like he's got to be up
He's
there.
injured. He's injured a lot. Yeah.
All right, we've got 2 votes for Rashford from Bilal and Simon. Big G is saying Anthony. Bilal is saying Ten Hag. Martial is coming in at 3rd. Bilal wants Onana as flop of the season.
Good one.
Lucky Singh wants Ten Hag in him all the way. Onana must top the list. That's 2 for Onana, 2 for Mount. All of them, except for Maguire and Mainu from Big G. The biggest PR faux pas of the season was Rashford coming into Carrington for his post-Belfast trip showdown talks with Heath in his Lamborghini SUV. Lucky is saying, our fans love give flop players at club applications winning crap. Cheers. Sofran Amrabat for Bilal. Malacia has flopped, according to Michael. Steph, the only way Rashford gets a hat-trick versus City is him taking at least 6 penalties. Remember, has Rashford had 2 off Bruno this year to get his confidence up?
Yeah.
And like he's saying, why do fans reward mediocre players over the manager?
Good point.
And then, of course, Dora's chickens could have played better football than us if they survived this storm.
Yeah, hopefully they did.
Dora was earlier telling us that, like, you know, when you sort of leave your house and think, "Oh God, have I left the stove on, or have I left the light on, or something?" What do you worry about when you leave the house, Dora?
So you're asking me what do I worry about when I leave the house?
Well, you told us that in the storm you get really worried because you don't know if the chickens are going to like just be flown off in the Anthony typhoon.
Yeah, I feel the same as my chicken during the storm. I mean, I'm scared. Even yesterday I talked to you. Told you guys. Even yesterday I got caught in a thunderstorm on a road. It was like I was, Jesus Christ in a car. I was floating. I was driving on the water. Or in that case, I was driving through the water because it was flooded. The roads were flooded. It was insane. Like I was in freaking Indonesia or Philippines or whatever, not in Croatia where we have a normal climate. I mean, what
music were you listening to?
Oh my God, I'm such a trash for it. Like I I turned on a Eurovision song.
Oh,
it was from Austria. We Will Rave, like classic Euro trash EDM song from the 90s, and they sang it in the Eurovision this year. And the song is going we will rave, tune, 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 and I'm literally, oh my God, is this ice? Is this falling from the sky or is it the rain? And I'm like, literally going through the lake.
Does this mean you got it on CD or something?
It was really interesting.
Do you have this Austrian song on CD?
No, it was over Spotify. Come on.
It was acoustic.
No,
she had the band in the back.
Spotify. Where do you think? Like I'm from your timeline. I'm from your century, Monty. I'm not using CD player anymore. Don't worry. Oh my God, this is so funny. But yeah, I worry about a lot of stuff. If the how do you say it in English? The thunder is going to hit me, or something will fall on my head if it's really windy. So yeah, I feel really not very safe.
All right, well, back to football. Eriksen, flop, love him, but he's like a slug. And Michael has said that Anthony is so anxious to prove himself instead of being a team player. I have to agree about the team player part. And then Tyrone is saying chicken run or possibly chicken swim or chicken rave. Lavia had only 1 appearance this season. Blimey. Sigmund saying Lindelof was his flop of the season. Made Maguire look good. I think Lindelof did all right at left back, to be honest. He was certainly better than Amrabat. I quite like this because I'm a big fan of ABBA. Waterloo, leaking toilets at Old Trafford. And Dora talking about her carpool karaoke has got us up to 30 likes. All right, Draugen. If only Rashford had the decency to refuse to play. Jesus. Number 1, Rashford. Number 2, Sancho. Number 3, Anthony. Number 4, Onana. Number 5, Casemiro. My flop of the season, I think it's the goalkeeper for me, because I'll tell you why. Is that for years I harped on about how we were always 10 men, that we were always playing with 10 men with De Gea, and in order to get forward, we needed to build a passing football team. And even though Onana's dropped a lot of clangers, he hasn't really improved us playing out from the back as much as I wanted. And I feel that, like, when you pay 50 million for the best on-the-ball goalkeeper in the world, who performed really well for Inter Milan against City in a European Cup final, I haven't. If you were to ask me, like, who the best keepers are with their feet in the Premier League, I don't think I'd put Onana in the top 5 after this season. And that was the primary reason that he was got for. I agree with the Jadon Sancho stuff, but I also love blaming Erik ten Hag for things, so I'm going to put him on that.
You've noticed.
All right, and
What's
now, well, the last item, and there's only one winner for me. It's Player of the Season. So, Monday, can you start by giving us the candidates, the players that you're thinking of?
Players I'm thinking of would be Garnacho, would be Kobe Mainoo, would be Dalot, and would be Johnny Evans. Beyond that, really struggling. So Dalot, Johnny Evans, Mainoo, Garnacho. Those are the 4 players that would be in contention.
All right, Dora, do you have anyone to add to that list?
I mean, maybe Bruno, just because he has the best stats. I think he has 27 goal contributions for us. I think he has 15 goals and 12 assists for us in all competitions.
Yeah, you're right.
So maybe, based on that, I think he started playing really well in the last month or so. Before that, he was in the same tier as everyone else. He was not very, very good, not good at all. But stats, I mean, he was leading us in the last whatever. But yeah, I think when it comes to stats, he's up there.
All right, but is he like a sort of number 4 or number 5, or is he your player of the season?
Probably number 5, in all honesty.
All right.
I agree with you, Dora. I would add Bruno. I forgot about him, but yeah, you're right. He's quality.
No love for Scott?
Yeah, Scott. When I'm thinking of player of the year, you got to play throughout the whole year. You got to not have spells out. You can't be coming off the bench and getting a brace against Brentford or whoever it was, and making you player of the year. Impact of the year, most improved player. There's other awards to win for Scott McTominay, but definitely not player of the year.
Maguire?
He's been out. I would have put him in. You know me, I would, but he's been out a long time, so you can't. It has to be longevity over the season.
These are just nominations, though.
Yeah, but the 5 that we've had: Bruno, we've got Garnacho, Kobe Mainoo. These guys all played. Evans,
Dalot.
and Dalot. They've all been ever present for the majority of the season.
All right. Well, before I ask you for who you're going to give as your player of the season, I'm going to go with the comments. Hopefully, it's not going to influence you. So if you've got a choice, stick with it.
I'm sticking
with
it, yeah.
Michael starts off with Dalot, easy. Stephanie Dalot as well. Big G's gone for Mainoo. I think he said that it's only Mainoo and Maguire he liked this season. Mm-hmm. Bill Baggio has got Johnny Evans, Mainoo and Dalot. Top 5 from Andrew: Dalot, Mainoo, Garnacho, Maguire, McTominay. Another vote for Dalot. It looks like Dalot is running away for it, but who's this? It's Bayindir. He's one game this season.
Oh my god!
Don't you dare say Bruno. I won't say Bruno. Sigmund has gone for Bruno. Stats don't lie, like my hips. Player of the season's got to be Mainoo. I don't know if he played enough for me. Like,
I mean, him and Evans, in my opinion, didn't play that much. to warrant the player of the season. I think Evans also had some injuries.
But Diego Dalot is Manchester United's player of the season for Tyrone. Mine close, though. Mo is going for Dalot. I bet 300 quid on bath time saying Johnny Evans. Don't take that bet, boys. Double A is asking about Maguire, and Big G has just said Harry Maguire, and Matt has said Bayinda, and Big G is saying let's get Fred back. To quote Highlander, there shall be only one Diego Dalot, not McTominay. Sorry, bath time. That's okay. Bruno, not a bad centre-back either. He plays when he has to. True captain has served this club well and probably deserves better. And then Dalot, a future Man United captain. I'm avoiding my best to talk about McTominay here. Dalot has been the best, though. Johnny Evans, unlucky to partner anyone, really, but especially Maguire at the Emirates. Still player of the season, our best defender, in my opinion. I'm going to start with you, Dora. All right?
Mm-hmm. I think. Look, if you put in the most improved player or something like that, I will probably go with Garnacho or Dalot. I think Dalot had massive leaps this season. I think he showed some glimpses last season, but then he got injured and he, didn't. He fell out of the form, unfortunately. But this season, I think he upgraded so much, and he would be my player of the season. There are good shouts that people would say Garnacho maybe. I think Garnacho lost his award in the last few months because he showcased, even though he played a lot, Ten Hag played him a lot. He showcased a lot of weaknesses, in my opinion. If with the selfishness in his play and not that good decision making in the final third. But I think Dalot was the most consistent player. I think he had some blunders as well. Chelsea game, he had a blunder up against Madueke. Unfortunately, I think there was one or two more. But those are 3-4 games. We played over 50 this season. And I think out of all of those players, he was the most consistent player. He didn't necessarily play like a player of the match every game, but he covered. When we didn't have defenders, he covered left side, he covered right side. He played Ten Hag system, or you would say, he followed instructions from the manager. He would go inverted. If he wanted him to overlap, he would overlap. He would run into space, like he, scored that goal against Brighton the other day. He did it so many times this season. Most of the time, the players didn't pinpoint him, unfortunately, but when they did, he was dangerous. And you know what? I was skeptical about him before. I felt that he was not a good defender. He had massive weaknesses, especially when it comes to defending. However, he improved massively. And I think that weakness of him not being a good defender, I think it became, much smaller because I feel that he improved so much in defense and he just polished his, attacking threat and, prowess, I would say. I think he is a great modern right back or full back because he plays both sides. He has a technique, he has a stature, has a physicality, quickness, and I think if he continues like that, he will become even better, and I wish him all the best. And he's still young. He's 23, 24 years old. Mourinho signed him when he was 19, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, great player this season. I would give it to Diogo Dalot in all honesty.
Okay. Well, we've got some comments that are coming in, but I don't know who Sigmund is referring to here. WBS probably got overlooked as a flop.
Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, probably Wan-Bissaka, yeah.
Oh, that should be a okay. All right. Well, Big G's threatening everyone if they keep mentioning Maguire. You can mention Maguire as much as you want. And like Bilal did straight away. And Steph has got a backup to your argument, which is that left side, right side, always available from Dalot. So Monday, can we look past Diego Dalot, or is there another player that you think is more deserving?
So I'm going to announce it in a speech. So this young player, or this player for Man United, has represented Man United really well this year. We want to see professionalism. We want to see leadership. We want to see consistency throughout the whole season. This young man has come into the club and developed year upon year upon year. He's had a few doubters out there, but this season, the reason why he gets the award is because this season he stood up when the chips were down. He's the only player that's really stood up consistently to be there and be a loyal worker for the club. He's got so much potential still to fulfill. He's played in various positions, whether it's right fullback or left fullback. And when you talk about he's playing in being comfortable in midfield, I think he's out of all our fullbacks, he's the guy I've seen him in midfield or attacking down the interior space, as you would call it, Bath time, in the final third. And he scored a great goal as well. So this young man, he's Portuguese, and he's witnessed probably Portugal's best player behind probably Figo and Eusebio, in my opinion. He's witnessed Ronaldo leave the club. And Ronaldo was based himself on being professional and being fit and being a hard worker. So I imagine Dalot, from what all accounts, goes to training early, leaves late, practices, works on his art, goes home, doesn't go to nightclubs or anything like that, and can be, because of all this, he can be trusted. So the reason why he should be the player of the year at Man United is because anyone looking on will say, this guy's been consistent, we've got nothing on him, there's no scandals, nothing like that. This is what a player, this is how you learn to trust the player. This is how the staff and the coaching staff and the manager or the head coach will turn to and know this player can be trusted. And if you want to win player of the year, these are the attributes, these are the actions you need to be doing, like Dalot has in the season 2023-2024. For me, Dalot, you are the best player, most consistent player, the one to be relied upon this season. You've stepped it up. You've been a good signing. You're showing some development as well. And I really, really rate your professionalism and character this season. That's why you are my player of the year.
Very good, Monday. I think that's a convincing argument. And we have some comments before we finish off, which is somehow we've landed at 31 likes, which is really good. Thanks, everyone. Agile Beast is saying slow and aging centre-backs have contributed to how bad we played in terms of inviting pressure and leaving a big hole in the midfield. We all know centre-backs should be playing in midfield. It shows how bad Manchester United are that right back is our player of the year. The players need to step up. Bill Badger has gone for Johnny Evans. Michael has said Rasmus is in his top 5, considering we never created for him. Yes, that one Dalot, the player of the year for Andrew, showed his versatility. Him being able to go in and support the overrun midfield was crucial for us. And last but not least is Greg's best customer, Luke Shaw. For me, I've just remembered who flop of the season should be. It's Dan Ashworth, showing again the incompetence that I've known all of my life with him. Like emailing people that he shouldn't have. For me, I would go for Johnny Evans as player of the season. I think I think he's fabulous. I think he's been our best defender in an incredibly stupid system that we're playing. And I also think that when you look at what is expected of a player, we saw that Dalot played nearly every game last year up until Christmas. Johnny Evans was meant to come in and play 5 or 6 games and ended up being our best centre back. And I also just really like Johnny Evans. He stole a taxi once with Danny Drinkwater, which I find very amusing. So I'm going to give it to him. But I can brook no concern with Diego Dalot getting player of the season. He's been absolutely fabulous. All right. And speaking of people that are absolutely fabulous, I've asked you all this week, my little monsters, to leave a comment after the show ends, and it's only me and Dora that are doing it. So in the comments, if you wouldn't mind when we finish, I don't know if this is too much to ask. Tell me if it is too much to ask. Can you just type Delo or bacon or antediluvian or flat earth or something in the comments afterwards to help us with the algorithm? If it is too much, I'll stop asking, but I just don't think it's that hard. But anyway, Monday, got an FA Cup final preview tomorrow.
Yes, we're doing it on Thursday and building up to Saturday. Yeah, really excited about this. Come on, guys, let's get behind the team and join us tomorrow for the FA Cup preview, where we can reminisce about big upsets in the past, and maybe we could be doing something special on Saturday. And we're going to pick a team as well. Remember the solo 11, final solo 11 of the season. Who are you playing in this 11? Let me know.
Yeah, Dora, you're joining us tomorrow, are you?
Tomorrow, yes. Unfortunately, Cup final is on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
I need to go to my neighbor's wedding, so I will probably need to prepare for that after the game. But you know what? I will maybe throw a comment in or something in the chat before I leave. So, yeah, it will be a very, how do you say it, a fun Saturday. So, yeah. But as always, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm always enjoying, talking with you guys. This is, one of the. I think this is the ending of the season, and yeah, I still remember I joined you guys for the first time in December, if I'm not mistaken. But correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just. My brain went out the window, and yeah, I think this is a highlight of my season. Meeting you guys at Man United Agenda, and talking to you, and hanging out with you, and talking about football. I mean, that's why I started coming on. In all honesty,
Such
3
a lucky
years ago.
girl.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I wanted to talk about my misery about Manchester United online, and I started doing this, and I'm glad that I met you guys. As well, chatters as well. I always enjoy, I hopefully my talks and my stories from my life doesn't, PP agrees apparently. I mean, I'm living in a zoo apparently. I hopefully it's fun to you guys and it's not too burdening and boring, and you want to come to the team, talk about football, and then I come in and talk about me driving on the water, like Jesus in a car, or through the water or through the lake, or talking about my chickens. So
I think your best one,
Snake Island.
No, the best one was when she told Jay Motti, our special guest, that she was going on a drug run to Bosnia.
I mean, I wasn't lying. I needed a man. I mean, I was going to apothecary. Oh my God, I can speak. What do you call that?
A
building?
chemist.
A chemist. That's so dumb. You should have kept apothecary. Yeah. You should have kept that word. But yeah, I mean, I'm not dealing drugs. I am going to get my antibiotics because they are much cheaper, and you cannot get them without receipts in Croatia. You need to go outside the European Union, so you get me. I mean, Americans do that on Mexican border as well.
Right.
Tyrone saying drug run in Bosnia. Sounds exciting.
But I will stop talking. But yeah, this was my highlight of the season. I like to talk a lot, as you already saw. And thank you for hearing about my life adventures.
Andrew is trying to take credit for something that he didn't do. So he's asking you who contacted you to come on here, Dora.
Bath time. I mean, we met on Rich Sports, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? I think it was a big tournament. No, it was United.
It was United.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but I think if I remember correctly, Nippen was there, and halfway through he started running for a bus, and it looked like the worst version of Baywatch you've ever seen. Just gadonka-donk. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your evening. So I've got to press this button, haven't I? Oh, here it
See you
is.
guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.